Hey everyone, it's Margaret here, Pampered Chef Consultant. I am going to show you how to make a really delicious meal in the quick cooker. It's called Cheddar Chicken Broccoli Risotto, and it's a wonderful comfort food, and we make it at least, I'd say maybe not every week, but probably about 3 times a month, sometimes every week. My son loves it. It's kind of one of those dishes like when you think about like the chicken, cheesy, rice, broccoli, hot dishes, it's kind of like that. It's wonderful. But I want to tell you a little bit about the quick cooker first. The quick cooker is Pampered Chef's version of like an Instapot. And what's so nice about it is you can make meals in about a half an hour. You can have a really hot, delicious meal that tastes like it's been cooking in the crock pot all day. You can also put frozen chicken breasts in here and they will cook up just as though you had defrosted them. Takes a little bit longer to come up to pressure, but then the time is about the same. So there's a lot of unique things you can make, in an Instapot and a quick cooker. Basically the same thing, it's just Pampered Chef's version of a pressure cooker. This is the meal we're going to make, the cheddar broccoli risotto with chicken. And this is the cooking guide that comes with the quick cooker. And lots of really yummy foods. So I'm going to start out. I want this to mainly be about the meal I'm going to make. And as I go along, you'll kind of see how the quick cooker works. So the first thing I need to do is heat up 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm going to take the lid off just like that. And just so you can see what it looks like. Metal pot inside. This is dishwasher safe. And we're going to put it on the sear function because what we're going to do is we're going to sear 1 chopped onion, 2 cloves of garlic, and a little bit of salt. And that will, when they sear, that will make them really flavorful. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my manual food chopper to chop an onion just like this. Maybe move the camera so you can see this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop the onion up. This is our manual food processor. It's great for chopping onions, peppers, anything like that. One big piece in here, but the rest of it, the more you chop it, the finer it will become. I'm going to give it a little shake. And just like that, I have an onion entirely chopped. This is great for onions, peppers, a lot of things. You can make salsa in it. You can chop up like strawberries. It'll almost puree it the more you chop. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to turn this to sear first. We've got several settings on the quick cooker, but actually really easy because it all tells you right here. I'm going to turn it to this little light till it gets over to the sear function, like that. That says sear, and then I'm going to hit start. And the nice thing is it has 20 minutes on here. It takes about 3 minutes for the sear function for the pot to get really hot. So I know when it gets to be about 17 seconds that it's hot enough to start searing my onion. Some of the other settings on here, we've got a steam setting, and that's if you want to steam vegetables. We've also got slow cook, kind of like a crock pot setting, a proof setting for making bread, and then we have the meat settings. We've got chicken and poultry, beef and pork, fish and seafood, and soups and stocks. And so those are common settings when you're making any of those foods that you would just turn the dial to and hit start, and the timer will already be set. You can also customize the time if you want to change it. And then on the bottom here we've got white rice, brown rice, whole grains, beans, stews and chilies, and desserts. And yes, you can make some desserts in our quick cooker too. We've got some great recipes. We've got like a cheesecake dessert. We've also got a really good chocolate and vanilla bundt cake dessert. So those are some of the settings, and just a little bit more about the quick cooker too. This is what the lid looks like, and this is the little red button that comes up when the quick cooker comes up to pressure. This is the steam release button, and then this is the valve that the steam comes out of. So I'll show you a little bit more about that when we're making our recipe. The inside just has a silicone ring. That's what helps seal the pot so that it will come up to pressure. And right now, we have a couple more minutes before it's going to be hot enough. I'm going to show you just a little bit more. Once this gets to 17, we'll start searing our onion and our garlic. But some of the other the nice things about the cooking guide is it gets you started right from the beginning. You can see the eggs there. Hard-boiled eggs are really awesome to make in the quick cooker. They're just easier to peel. And so we always make our hard-boiled eggs in there. And there's a guide for cooking vegetables. Vegetables cook so fast. You can cook like a whole head of cauliflower, or if you've got even those vegetables that take longer to steam, like beets or Brussels sprouts, you can put them in the quick cooker and set it for about 5 minutes, and then it takes about 5 minutes to pressure up and 5 minutes to cook, and it's all done, all steamed and really good. You can put olive oil or a little bit of butter or salt and pepper on it. There is a recipe for making a multi-grain bread loaf using the proof setting. This one's really good, the chicken teriyaki and rice. And then I often make my salmon in the quick cooker. It turns out really tender and yummy. Beef stew, you can make beef stew and Parmesan polenta all at the same time. Really great for making homemade chili and stews and soups. And this pot roast with carrots and potatoes, you can make it all in the quick cooker when you have the ceramic pot that you can buy with it, or you can get it as a set. So we're at 17, so we know this has been heating up for 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put my chopped onion in. Again, this was one medium chopped onion. Just going to add it in like that. Next, I'm going to take 2 cloves of garlic with my garlic press. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze those in. And I'm going to grab a knife here. It does come with a little tool. I just don't have that on here right now, so I'm going to do that just like so. And then the nice thing about the garlic press, you don't have to peel the garlic ahead of time. It just comes right out when you're done. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze one more like that. Give it a squeeze. Scrape it off. Ooh, that smells good already. I'm going to give it a stir. I don't want it to burn, but I want it to start searing. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. As you can see, you've got the steam coming up, and we're just going to stir it a little bit. We're only going to do this for a couple minutes, like that. We're going to also add a little bit of salt. I'm just going to use my salt grinder, about a teaspoon. That continues to give it flavor. I'm going to stir it a little bit using my teak wooden spoon. You can also add a chopped red pepper, which I love. My son is not really crazy about red peppers, so we just don't include that ingredient, but I'm going to stir it just a little bit longer. You only need to do this for a few minutes. We're at 15, so we'll go another minute. And then the next ingredient we're going to add in just a minute is arborio rice. You can get this at most stores. They don't all have it, but I know like Hornbacher's has it, Target has it. This I got at Natural Grocers. Arborio rice. It's a shorter grain rice, and it absorbs the. We're gonna put cheese in here later, and we're gonna have chicken broth. It absorbs it better, and it just tastes better when you use this rice. So if you're able to get it, Walmart also has it, and they have it in the bigger plastic containers. And you get enough to make 4 or 5 servings of this. So I think it's about $5, but it's definitely worth it because you get to use it over and over again. So, but now we're gonna take a cup of the arborio rice. I'm going to add just a little bit more because that's the end of my package and I don't want to waste it. So it's 1 cup. I had about a 4th cup extra. And then I'm just going to stir it a little bit more. And that will make it just a little bit toasted, give it a little bit of flavor. So again, I'm just going to show you how that looks. I'm just, nothing's browning. We're just stirring it a little bit. Of course, I love the smell of onions and garlic. It smells good already. And I'm starving, so this is going to be good when it's all done. So we're just going to let it sit for just a second. So there's kind of a couple phases of this. You sear the onion and the garlic, and you add the rice, and then we're gonna add some chicken broth, and a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then we're gonna put the lid on, and that's when we're gonna cook it up to pressure. And we're gonna use the rice setting. Now you could use the chicken setting. We're gonna follow the recipe. The recipe tells us to follow the rice setting. It doesn't cook quite as long, but we don't have a ton of chicken in here. We've got, to be exact, the chicken in this recipe is 1 pound of chicken tenderloins cut into bite-sized pieces. So it will cook up faster because we're not putting like a whole chicken breast in there. So the setting, I can see this is starting to smell really good. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to cancel out of the sear setting. We're going to add 3 cups of chicken broth, just like this. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. That just gives it a little bit of flavor too. I'm going to go ahead and getting kind of to the end here, but we'll get it out. Get that tablespoon in here. Like that. Tablespoon of the Dijon mustard. And I have the pound of chicken tenderloins already diced up. We're going to stick that in here too. Shake that off. These are flexible cutting mats, which are great for, I've got a few of them and I can prep all my ingredients ahead of time and just dump them in. So I'm going to stir it up a little bit. And next, I'm going to put the lid back on my quick cooker. Like that. I'm going to set it to the white rice setting. Now that's 4 minutes. I like to cook it for about 8 minutes, a little bit longer, so then I'm just, because I've made this a few times and I like my rice really soft. So I can show you how that works then. We got 4 minutes. I'm just gonna do time and go up to 8, and then I'm gonna hit start. And now in about 10 minutes, this red button will pop up. That means it's up to pressure. And then the timer is gonna go to 8 minutes. And then it will count backwards down to 0. And then you can either, depending on what your recipe tells you to do, release all the steam and then do the next step of your dish, or I can let the steam slowly release for like 10 minutes. And that's what I'm going to do with this, because you want, especially with rice, you want it to get nice and fluffy from the steam. So this will take about 10 minutes to come up to pressure, 8 minutes to go back down to 0, and then I'm going to let it go back up to 10. So I'm going to come back on when it's done. So of course, if you're watching this, I'll have the next video already for you to see. But this is the first stage of our recipe. So the second part will show you what comes next.